Good evening and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure and honor for our country to be part of this great experiment. And it's my great pleasure to present to you the presentations from the Indian side. To kickstart the first presentation, it will be by none other than the Secretary of IT, Dr. Ajay Sawhney, who has been involved with us right from the start of this project. Ajay actually not only as the person in the Ministry of IT, he also helped us to set up scanning centers in Andhra Pradesh when he was the first of the few IT secretaries in the country. So it's a great pleasure and honor for me to invite Dr. Ajay Sawhney. Ajay, you can take over.
Uh, thank you. Thank you, sir. Of course, I'm not a PhD nor a medical doctor, so I'm not Dr. Ajay Sawhney, but I'm Ajay Sawhney, just Ajay, sir. And it's been a delight to have been associated with this particular project. So I remember discussions about this concept when it was just initial concept of 1 million books. Before that, Professor Raj Reddy had taken this through 100 books project, if I'm right, and 1,000 books, and then in steps. And when we had a more serious discussion, Professor Raj Reddy had uh, formulated not just a very detailed strategy and objective of the project, but the team at Carnegie Mellon University had also established the process and tried out the process very successfully with the high level scanning equipment, with the software, with software that could handle the and deliver the kind of quality of scanned resources that was required, including straightening of the resource and the entire process of how books and artifacts would be placed in the scanner, and what kind of metadata would be captured. And the entire process, I think, was well under control. And if I remember correctly, uh, the NSF funding had also been obtained for the program, and it was a program that was involving multiple countries, and there was a strategy as to how to move forward with all of them. And I was apart from being secretary in the Department of IT and Communications in Andhra Pradesh. I also had the wonderful fortune of being the special officer for Triple IT from the design stage of Triple IT Hyderabad, where Professor Raj Reddy has guided the design and uh, the the entire journey of Triple IT Hyderabad as the chairperson of the governing council right since the inception. So it was a wonderful coming together of the different entities, government of Andhra Pradesh, of Triple IT Hyderabad, and IISc Bangalore had been guiding the project right from the inception, probably even earlier than Triple IT sort of came in on the scene. I also remember in one of the visits to Carnegie Mellon University, a very detailed discussion on this, where our then Secretary IT was also there. Yashwant Bhaveji also has guided this extremely, with tremendous amount of passion. And so it has actually, it touched a chord that this is something that needs to be done. We are squandering away our precious resources. With every year that passes, many of our rare books, old books, artifacts like palm leaf manuscripts, knowledge which is held, the cultural heritage, very cherished knowledge which is held close, is available only in specific physical libraries, which probably may not be able to sustain the effort that is required to preserve those books, and even more so to make them available to the rest of the world. We also had discussions about, is it the right policy to digitize even rare books, important books, and make them available completely in a free to read, free to use manner to anyone, anywhere in the world. And I remember the compelling argument that if it is a book in Telugu, or if it is a book in Malayalam, or if it is a book in Bengali, it is most valuable to people who know that language, who are spread across the globe. And as long as such a valuable book or artifact remains only in physical form inside a library, a large number of people can never hope to get access to that valuable resource or the artifact. And so a lot of work that could be potentially done by making it available would not even get started, or maybe not even get imagined, if the resource, valuable resource, were to be left in as is condition. So with that in view, it was clear at Government of India level that this is a project which is worth, or a mission rather than a project which is worth supporting and participating in, that we must overcome not just hesitation but various other obstacles or challenges, bring all the libraries and stakeholders on board, and one by one go ahead systematically crunching the physical artifact and converting into something digital. There was an issue of copyright. The team at Carnegie Mellon University, I remember, had done tremendous amount of thinking on that, consulted some legal experts as well. This was also done at various levels, at different stages. And there was a comparison of what is the copyright law, not just what is the copyright law in different parts of the world, but also what is the spirit behind the copyright law. And in case a book is available in a library and it is digitized, these were still sort of early days for all the books to be available in a digitized form. So there was a discussion as to what are the rights for readers, or to how many people can the book be made available if you have only one physical copy and it is still in copyright. Can it be made available to anyone? At one time, can it be made available to a large number of readers? So there was a discussion, and such issues also got discussed. We were clear that there is significant amount of valuable material which is, number one, not under copyright any longer. There is an even larger amount of published material to which it was being added year after year. The corpus was being grown year after year, where the books were no longer in print. So they were not yielding any revenue to anyone. They were not available to anyone other than those who had access to the remaining few copies, either in a library or somewhere, or in a private library or a public library, or a library with an academic institution. And many of the authors, if they are approached, would be happy with the idea of their book being digitized, given a new lease of life, and would also become available to people, not just to read, but potentially to order a copy printed and bound in a customized manner and shipped to them at a very low cost. The authors would be ready, and this would significantly benefit the readers and potential users of that book. So with all of this, we moved into this with a few significant libraries inside Andhra Pradesh. I'll indicate the story from Andhra Pradesh, where I saw it firsthand. We were able to convince all the key stakeholders within the government, including the then Honorable Chief Minister. We were able to bring in the State Central Library and the City Central Library into this project. We reached out to Tirupati, where we have amazing resources, amazingly old and fairly well preserved resources. We reached out to a library in Rajamundry, which is considered a very rich source of books and artifacts of the culture, especially around the coastal Andhra Pradesh, and many, many more institutions. I also remember that we set up a major scanning center in IIIT Hyderabad alone. I remember at the early stage of the project being a bit puzzled, as to what is Carnegie Mellon University and a university like Indian Institute of Science, and of course, at that time, a very young institution like IIIT Hyderabad. Why are these engaged in something which appears like a somewhat low-tech activity? That is, after all, it's just scanning and capturing the metadata. And I also remember, after discussions internally and especially with Professor Raj Reddy, that the impact of the data that gets created is absolutely extraordinary that this, number one, it makes access available to everyone universally, free of cost. It removes the friction, it removes the barrier. If we scan at a scale and granularity which is very high, which was the aim and for which the scanners were actually, the specifications were arrived at, then every time we make an advance, every time there is a technological advance in OCR or in handwriting recognition, that this is a permanent resource that we have created on which one could run in a cascading manner. Every time there is an improvement in the quality of OCR, you could actually get better results. So, and that this huge exercise would also result in, or would also open up multiple fields of investigation. It would enable completely new questions to be not just answered, but new questions to be asked and answered. So these were very compelling arguments. And I also remember that with his customary energy and initiative, Professor Raj Reddy was able to ship a large number of books to the scanning center in IIIT Hyderabad, which we then proceeded to scan and sort of, add to the metadata and follow that entire process. After this happened and a wonderful repository became available, primarily with Indian Institute of Science. I don't remember the precise stage, but the IIT Kharagpur played an extraordinary role, came forward to host the Digital Library of India, which they have done to this date. In between, there were some issues, there were some unanticipated, or to some extent anticipated, but to some extent unanticipated issues, once again arising on copyright, on what can be kept open, on which of the books can be made available with unrestricted access. Are there some books that need to be, where the access needs to be restricted? On account of lack of clarity on some of those issues, for some time, I think the project did suffer a setback, and a number of books were actually not accessible for quite some time. We have been able to resolve many of these issues. The integration of the digital library with the National Digital Library Initiative from Ministry of Education, I think that has progressed. We also found Ministry of Culture undertaking an effort to create and enable access to a lot of other material, culturally relevant material, to everyone in India, for which they had established a portal. And about a year ago, I think we succeeded in, Professor Raj Reddy had drawn my attention to the fact that some of this material is not being adequately utilized, and we need to work further on making it available to everyone. And under guidance of Professor Balakrishnan, I think we were able to successfully navigate that exercise of making access to this material available, not just through the existing repository from IIT Kharagpur, but also an alternate mechanism of access through a portal established by the Ministry of Culture. As we move forward, it's very important that we move forward with determination, with clarity as to what are the resources that are still available, which are still in the same danger as they were 20 years ago. Do we have an unfinished task? What is the quantum of that task? What is the way forward? What are the dreams we had dreamt which are not yet realized? What is the value of what we have created which is not yet fully made use of? And we arrive at more answers and possibly initiatives that can take this forward. The new thought that, and a absolutely sort of astounding thought, that everything is born digital and it must be digital at birth and remain there, so that we don't again encounter the problem of having apprehensions about the loss of valuable writings or pieces of art or artifacts. And that the issue of copyright is an issue that can be woven on top of the concept of everything born digital. I think that's a absolutely spectacular concept, and it would be a pleasure to be a part of that as it takes further shape. Thanks a lot to the Professor Raj Reddy, to Professor Balakrishnan, to Professor Sangal, to PJ Narayanan, to Yashwant ji, to the leadership, to Ram, to others who have actually guided this effort and made us a part of it. It's been a pleasure to have participated in this, and I've just sort of, spoken in a spontaneous manner from what I recall. It's been years and years, but thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.